Your home is a lot like your car. It requires regular maintenance to keep it safe and maintain its value. The professional technicians from Home Smiles complete all your annual maintenance items in just one day. Save time and keep your family safe with our complete 18-point service starting at just $49 a month. Order today with promo code FREEMONTH and we'll waive your first payment.
1-888-SMILE-11. One click or call, smile, it's done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Lucas Oil Raceway in Indiana. My name is Chase Rodman alongside Chris Wheeler. We are here for round number 4 of the Junior Late Model Esports Next Series. Once again, back here at Lucas Oil Raceway for the second time in 2 weeks. 80 laps. The distance here tonight once again, and everybody's going to be chasing down Dylan Baptista, who's got 3 out of the 4 wins so far this year with this series. Chris, last week we saw some great racing towards the latter stages of the 80-lap main event, and I'm expecting to see a little bit more of that here tonight as these drivers, like we mentioned, raced this track last week, and they've got a lot of practice throughout the last 7 days getting ready for this main event.
It's going to be an absolutely good show. You're looking at practice right now. And if you look at the top of the board, Jaden Arena with a 23.248 in that practice session is obviously we're underway for the qualifying right now. That shook some stuff up because Baptista, P2, and that's not a normal place for the driver of the 7.
Yeah, Baptista's been really good, and I think that Jaden Reyna is going to be a tough competitor here tonight. Last week got caught up midway through the race in an accident, and he was making his way through the field after having an issue earlier on in his heat race. So a little bit of a different style of event here tonight. We did have some server issues, some technical difficulties earlier on this afternoon, and no heat races here tonight. So really just qualifying, and that'll set the grid for the 80-lap main event. It looks like there's about 23-ish cars here, Chris, and with no heat races, it's going to be really critical to get a good lap in here for qualifying.
Now, Chase, I take that as a plus and a minus. So for me, I look back at the last couple of rounds and I look at how clean and how good the heat racing was. And maybe that means that with no heat racing, we're going to get that good luck here to start of this 80-lap feature. But on the flip side, the drivers are going to have a little bit of bent-up aggression going into a race, and maybe that they get that out of their way in the heat races. So it could go either direction for us here. But let me tell you the storyline that I'm most intrigued about so far this evening. Dominic Carter, a lot of speed in the series, but tonight, not logged in as a racer, logged in on the crew side of the number 7, Dylan Baptista.
Yeah, and Carter is the only guy that has upset 7-car Baptista. He picked up the win. I believe it was the second race at the Irwindale Speedway where Baptista ended up second. I'm not sure if Carter clicked the wrong button or what happened, which is something that could easily happen here on the iRacing sim. Is we've got a couple more cars left to qualify, and Jaden Reyna right there, you see him on your screen, the 19 machine, just jumped up to second quick with a 23.220. Baptista, though, a 23.176, and he is quickest so far over Reyna, Cushedy, Johnson, and Sokol, the top 5. One more car left to turn a lap here. It's Jace McCarthy, and Jace will jump up to 10th quick on lap number 2. So everybody's qualified now. Just going to wait for this timer to run down. And, Katie Hedinger there, Chris, I mentioned it last week that they were sending me a T-shirt. I have got that shirt on right now. Perfect fit, extra large. Unfortunately, Katie with a 20th place qualifying effort, but I feel like we've seen that from her every week. She ends up starting at the back of the main event and somehow makes her way up to the front towards the end.
Katie Hedinger in the 71 has obviously put in some good race performances. Hopefully tonight is the night where she can keep the front end of that hot rod clean and get the 71 to the front without having to use any of those quick repairs early on. But I'm going to call it, probably not supposed to do this. Jason Groff in the 10 has showed so much growth in the racing itself. I'm really looking forward to see how the 10 runs, as well as the 18 of Berta, who put on a great show last week with a destroyed race car.
Yeah, I forgot about that, man. Chase Berta, his car, that Rowdy Energy 18 machine, was absolutely crunched on every quarter panel, and somehow I think he ended up inside the top 5 in that 18 car. So keep your eye on Berta. If he can keep all the fenders on that thing, he might be a contender to win this thing, but he's going to have a lot of work ahead of him. 13th starting spot here for the number 18 car. Looks like everybody's turn in a qualifying lap here. Got about 50 more seconds on the timer. It's Baptista, Reina, Cushity, Johnson, Sokol, the top 5, and then Rygielski, Nascimento, Starcher, Yurdo, and McCarthy, the top 10 starters here, ready to go for 80 laps. And if it's anything like we saw last week, Chris, keeping your nose clean is priority number 1 here. If you're anybody starting beyond the first row, I would have to think here. We did see quite a few accidents at the start of the race last week. So if you can keep your car clean until about lap 50, you might have a shot to win this thing.
And I think it all falls back to personal space and responsibility on behalf of the drivers. The other key thing here is obviously you can't control what everybody else is doing around you, but what you can control is yourself and your own actions. That being said, don't expose yourself to a silly incident getting into the corner or early in the race. Don't make decisions that you know will most likely come out with a bad result.
No doubt about it. If you're out there watching here on the Facebook, the Raceface Brand Development Facebook page, or if you're on the Twitch, let us know that you're watching. Chime in a little bit. And just as I said that, there is Jesse Hettinger cheering on Katie Hettinger in the 71 tonight. If you're cheering on one of your favorite drivers, let us know in the Facebook chat. I do have that pulled up along with the Twitch chat. So I got to thank the guys at Speed Lab TV, Dylan Schiebel, and everybody else behind the scenes that is getting this stream going, as we are now on the grid here. 22 cars strong, 80 laps the distance. Chris, do you think anybody's got anything for Dylan Baptista tonight? He is a winner out of 3 of the 4 races so far, and the one he didn't win was P2, right behind Dominic Carter. I've got to believe that the target is on his back here tonight. Chris, are you live?
Sorry about that. My own set of technical difficulties, but I do believe that you're right. I think the theoretical target is going to be on his back. However, I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for drivers tonight. Second week here at this venue, practice this week. I say we have an upset winner here.
I do love upset winners. You know, I don't want to wish any harm, I should say, on Dylan Baptista. I hope he has a great race, but I always love a good first-time winner, an upset winner, an underdog winner, if you will. That is always exciting to see here as we are working on our first pace lap now. The lights go out on the pace car, and we are ready for 80 laps around the Lucas Oil Raceway here in Indiana. This should be a great race. It was last week. Baptista dominated, but the race for second was a good one. Jaden Reina, I think, is going to be the guy I'm going to choose for that upset win there in that Hendrick Auto number 19 car. He was so good before getting caught up in an accident midway through the race last week, and I think the 19 car has got something for Dylan Baptista here tonight. You see that pace car hang a left into the infield, and we are ready. Round number 4 of the Junior Late Model Next Series, ended by Nitro Lubricants, about to go green off of turn number 4. 80 laps on the board, and the field is in the hands of Dylan Baptista and Jaden Reina. Good start up front, and Jaden Reina gets through the gears real nice right there, and he'll lead the field to turn number 1 here, Chris.
They head off into turn number 1, clean and green all the way through. 3 somewhat 4-wide action about halfway back, a little bit of tire smoke. Nothing major, and we're off 2, and there's the contact. Middle of the back straightaway. Look like 3 cars trying to get into a 1-car position, and now we've got them stacked up like a Walmart parking lot. Oh, my goodness. But my camera right there, and I can't wait for you to see this, was on my man, the number 22 in the Zent machine. How about that drive? Started last and made it through without a scratch.
Yeah, Easton Zent right there. He was slicing and dicing through those guys right there. That was impressive. But, you know, I was scrolling back as soon as you said contact. I started scrolling back, and, yeah, we had a yard sale in turn 3 right there at the Lucas Oil Raceway. At least, and I'm saying at least 8 or maybe even 10 cars involved in this one. Our girl Katie Hettinger gets caught up in it, along with other drivers like Trevor Raymond, Joaquin Stewart, also involved. It looks like, I can't even tell you, Chris. There was a ton of drivers involved in that one, and we've already got at least 5 of them on pit road using that coveted fast repair that we talked about at the top of the show. You really want to conserve those fast repairs. You definitely don't want to use them on lap number 1, but here tonight, quite a few drivers having to use that thing early.
It was an unfortunate contact headed just on the exit turn number 2 down the backstretch, right about the JD Byrider break in the wall. And it started with, I just had it up. What am I doing? I believe it was McCarthy. A little bit of contact, came over into Starcher into Yurto, and then hold on to your belts, folks, because it got wild from there.
Yeah, it looks like a total of 8 cars there in that accident at the very least, and at least 4 or 5 of them just coming off pit road right now, including Starcher, Hettinger, and Joaquin Stewart. So we do have some Facebook comments coming in here. Kerry Belsato says, let's go Colorado drivers. Aiden Kaiser also says Trenton Yurdo, cheering him on along with Ethan Nascimento, Dylan Baptista, and Jace McCarthy. Darren Yurdo also cheering on Trenton Yurdo. And yeah, that's all the shout outs we've got for now. If you're watching out there on Facebook, let us know who you're cheering on, and we'll get you a little bit of a shout out here on the stream. But as we mentioned last week, man, Chris, great to see all these families and friends cheering on these drivers, trying to get them a little bit of confidence here in this race.
It's one of my favorite parts about the junior late model next esports series, and that's the fans that we get to participate with and entertain with here on all forms of social media and the broadcast. I definitely look forward to it. I love seeing all the names pop up from all over the country tuning in here for our broadcast this evening.
Yeah, I just had another one come in from the guys at Sokol Motorsports cheering on Justice Sokol as the pace lights are out. We get doubled up, and we didn't really talk about it too much, but Jaden Reyna, Chris, he got the start of his career, got through the gears real nice. He is the leader of this race. I know we're only on lap 5. We didn't even get a full green flag lap in, but the 19 car showed that he's very good on the starts here. We'll see if he gets through the gears once again nicely. Him and Dylan Baptista side by side up here. And we saw last week that the top of the racetrack seemed to be the place to be on the restarts, and Baptista's in that position. Green flag is out, and a very, very even start up front. As they head back into turn number 1, Reyna with the advantage. He'll slide up the racetrack right in front of Dylan Baptista and retake the lead here as they work off at turn number 2 and down the back straightaway.
4 wide now, exit of turn 2, more contact. Cars up the fence, one on the inside barrier, and one turned around late down the back straightaway. Still green flag racing, and there's the yellow.
Caution is out. Teddy Custody, he was running in the 3rd spot. Ethan Nascimento, he was running 7th. Casey Klein was in the 19th spot. Those 3 drivers all get tangled up in this one. And there's at least 2 drivers right there that had not yet used their fast repair. And looking at the damage on Custody's car, the rear end is absolutely destroyed. Rear end on Nascimento and the left front is absolutely killed on the 21 car. So 2 more drivers more than likely going to need to use those fast repairs there. And they're going to have to really mind their P's and Q's here for the rest of this race and try and keep the fenders on those cars. But, man, not a very good start to this one. We've got a couple of accidents already, and at least 10 or 12 cars getting taken out early in this one.
Now, unfortunately, also, you got to think about how quick the lap times, including the yellow laps, are here around Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. Because when we went green right there, we only had 4 drivers who had already lost multiple laps.
Yeah, we've got 18 cars at the moment on the lead lap. The 4, there are at least 2, maybe even 3 laps down. Casey Klein, Trevor Raymond, Aiden Brooks, and Jace McCarthy. And the guys here behind the scenes, the race directors and such, they will be giving lucky dogs and such like that, trying to give people get back up on the lead lap here. So if your favorite driver is not on the lead lap, they can get back on the lead lap if enough cautions do arise, which at this point, I think that if you're 2 or 3 laps down, you could probably get yourself back on the lead lap by the end of this thing as the pace lights are still on. We've got to thank a couple of the sponsors here that are on board with this Junior Late Model Esports Next Series presented by Nitro Lubricants, Joe's Racing Products, Victory Custom Trailers, Homesmiles.com, Raceface Telmed, along with Victory Lane Design, Craft One, and the guys at the Madera Speedway. As we mention every single week here, Chris, a lot of great sponsors and partners on board with this series.
Absolutely, and one thing that I really want to give a shout out to, obviously we had a ton of technical difficulties with the iRacing server earlier this evening. Obviously, that had a really big update. That's why we're not doing heat races right now. But the staff at Racecraft One, they were on top of it. They were prepared. They went through their protocol. They got us back going again, and they got everybody back into the main server. So hats off to those guys. Kelly Jones and the entire staff have done a fantastic job.
They sure have, and we are ready, it looks like, to come back to the restart. Nope, next time by, we'll get the lights out here. A couple more shout-outs coming in here on the Facebook page. Terry Burnham, Deb Helberg, along with Shell Prest on the Twitch chat there. Another one of the Katie Hettinger supporters there in the Twitch chat, as these drivers continue to ride behind the iRacing pace truck, or pace car, I should say. And we got to talk about the championship awards here, Chris, because there was a lot of stuff on the line here. First place in the championship, a $1,500 value. That gets you a custom driver website, custom logo design, and social media graphics, which in this day and age are very, very important for these drivers to try and grow not only their personal brand, but get their name out there. If you look professional, race teams and car owners and stuff like that really like the look of a nice, clean website and a logo and social media graphics.
Absolutely, and I think it's a very valuable package for a lot of these young drivers. We talk about this a lot with this series. It's not just about the on-track performance and the things that follow along with that, as far as racecraft, situational awareness, and decision making. But a lot of it is also trying to teach these young drivers how to represent themselves, their partners, their families, and their brand off track. As it looks like now, pace car has ducked in, and we're headed back to you for the green flag.
Yeah, here we go. Side by side, nose to tails, to come back to the restart zone here at the Lucas Oil Raceway. Green flags in the air, and once again a great start for Jaden Reyna, and he will clear Dylan Baptista before they get into turn number 1. Gets up the racetrack right in that top groove where he wants to be, and the 19 car is going to show the way down the back straightaway. Baptista takes a peek to the inside, gets a little bit tight, slides up the racetrack back into second, tags the wall a little bit there down the back straightaway, with Chase and Groff behind him. Caleb Johnson and Chase Berta, who started 13th, is already into the top 5 here. Chris, the caution's out.
Big time stack up here. Cars upside down the middle of turns 3 and 4. 5 cars it appears to be here off the start. And yeah, I think we claimed another 5 cars, a few of which had not yet been to pit lane. So that's devastating for these cars that were in that mid-pack area.
Oh my goodness. We've got a couple of turtles sitting there in turns 3 and 4, stuck upside down and not able to get back going. Katie Hettinger is one of them. The other one is Joaquin Stewart in the 79 car. And just like that, when you get stuck upside down, just like in real life here, your race is all but over here, Chris. Those guys have to use a tow, have to take the tow truck back to the pit area. Katie Hettinger and Joaquin Stewart, more than likely their night's coming to an end.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a little bit of contact getting in the corner between the 24 and the 25. 71 had nowhere to go. That almost blocked the track for the 79. Oh my goodness, yeah, the 15 got pulled into it. The 63 did a great job of getting out of it. There's just cars everywhere. I feel so bad for some of these drivers here.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Victims. Yeah, there's some innocent victims here in this wreck. As I'm taking a look at the replay right now, it kind of looked like the 25, as you mentioned, got into the back of another driver. And man, a big ride there for the 71 of Katie Hettinger. She did a couple barrel rolls before ending up on her top there. And unfortunately, she will not probably be finishing this race, as we are now down to 16 cars on the lead lap. But I mentioned it there before the caution came out. The guy that you were kind of talking about earlier on in this race, the 18 car, Chase Berta, 13th to 5th, as he has avoided the accidents and has made his way into the top 5. Zach Morris, 17th to 7th, and Easton Zent, 22nd to 8th. So if you're going to keep the nose clean here, you can make it your way up to the front.
Don't forget the first one I mentioned. I know that I'm not supposed to pick multiple, but how about the 10 machine of Chase and Groff, 14th to 3rd?
Yeah, the 10 car is absolutely on a roll. I didn't even see him there. He was actually challenging Baptista before the caution came out there. Baptista, he's got his hands full this time. I think last week he cruised out to like a 5-second advantage to win that thing, and tonight he's got his work cut out for him here.
Well, I really think that one of the keys to the 7-car success has been the consistency over long runs. And where Dylan Baptista has the ability to get out in front into clean air and really take advantage of those long runs and consistently hit his marks has been, I think, one of his keys to his success. So this constant yellow racing has not been very good for his style.
Yeah, definitely not. He definitely likes the long runs here, likes to try and get some heat in the tires and get that thing going on a long run. We talked about the championship awards in this one. Second place in the championship, a $600 value custom hero card design, 250 printed hero cards, and a free Racecraft One one-on-one training session. Third place also gets one of those Racecraft One one-on-one training sessions. The race purse, $50, a gift card there, a t-shirt, $25 gift card, and a t-shirt for second, and then a hat and a shirt for the third place spot. Fast qualifier gets a t-shirt and a hat, fastest race lap t-shirt and hat, and then at the halfway break, whoever's leading at halfway will get a t-shirt or a hat, and the hard charger also gets a t-shirt and a hat. So a lot of stuff for these kids to be going for here tonight as we are making our way back to the restart zone. Pace car will pull off into the infield here in turn number 3. We'll work on lap number 17, still a long ways to go in this one. About 63, 62 laps to go back to the starter stand here. We'll see if Baptiste get a good jump on the restart here, Chris, as we come off of turn number 4, waiting for that green flag, waiting, and there it is. Green flag is back in the air as we're back underway here at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Obviously, the leader's pulling it out here hard into turn number 1, but my focus right now about 8th on back. This is where our problems seem to have been so far trying to get through these restarts, and right now we're clean and green off turn number 2.
Yeah, this is the farthest it seems like we've made it here, all the way down to turns 3 and 4. The 5 car of Caleb Johnson way up next to the wall, and he's going to take over the 3rd spot from the 10 of Chasen Groff. So Caleb Johnson way up next to the wall there in 3 and 4, making the top side work, and he is coming after your leader. And speaking of that, here comes Baptiste as he takes a look up underneath the 19 car of Jaden Reyna for the race lead down to turns 3 and 4, and the caution's back out.
Trying to pick out here and see what exactly brought out this caution. There it was, contact in 1 and 2.
Looks like the 63 car here, James Starcher, gets into the left rear fender of another driver and spins out, kind of gets into Joaquin Stewart, but mostly a single car accident here in this one.
Yeah, 63 kind of got into the left rear there and had a little looper. Collected another car off the left front corner, but this one should be a pretty quick turnaround.
Yeah, just a single car accident there in this one. We are down to 15 cars on the lead lap. Driver in the lucky dog position would be Justice Sokol in the 25 car. And I'm interested to see that 25 car, he did use his fast repair, and his car is in good shape here. So we mentioned the fast repair thing. If this is your first time watching one of these iRacing events or just watching this one in general, each of these drivers does get one fast repair. So if they get in a wreck, they can go into the pits and they come back out with a fresh car. The fenders will be back on it. There won't be any damage to that race car there. So that is a thing that these drivers definitely take advantage of here. But if you get into an accident early, like we've seen a couple of these guys get in, then you can really find yourself in trouble if you use that fast repair and then get into a wreck late in the race. So guys like Jaden Reyna, Dylan Baptiste, Caleb Johnson, Chasen Groff, and Evan Wright-Gielski, they are in prime position as they've made it, to about the 3rd of the way mark here without having to use that fast repair. So that's definitely a leg up on the competition for some of these guys that have already been in an accident.
The fast repair is my best friend, at least when I'm on the driving side here on the iRacing platform. It really does it helps the value of the racing quite a bit. I think we've seen it all the way from the pro leagues as far as like the pro invitationals with the NASCAR and IndyCar drivers, all the way down here to a series like our junior, our junior late model next series. It really is something that you have to think about those strategy also.
It definitely is a strategy, and we saw that, as you mentioned, in those pro invitationals for the NASCAR guys. They were really strategizing using when to use those resets and such. So pace car lights are still on, and we'll see if they turn off this time by Jaden Reyna. If that caution didn't come out, I think he was going to be in trouble as far as the race lead there, Chris, as Baptiste was taking a look underneath of him here before the caution came out. And Baptiste, he's not wasting any time. With how this race is playing out, you have got to make moves as quickly as you can, because we are not really getting any green flag laps in, and Baptiste might be getting a little bit desperate here, knowing that he might have a better race car than Jaden Reyna, but with no green flag laps being scored, he's really got to make a couple of desperate moves here to try and get by him.
Yeah, I really think that, I would like to think as we work lap 20 right now that you're going to get some green flag laps in. I mean, I don't think there's enough fast repairs to allow us to continue to crash at this for the entirety of the event. But when is it going to come, or where's the next problem going to strike? So if you can get out right now, be a little extra aggressive, use up a little bit of those tires, and then get back into conserve mode with clean air, you're definitely going to be on a better projection for the end of the race.
And we saw the 7 car last week at Baptista. He was very good at conserving his tires, even though it looked like his car was getting pretty sideways, able to conserve the right rear and the right front on that car and just drive away from the field running very consistent lap times. So especially with all these yellows, it's really conserving those tires. They really don't have much wear on them, and you can really drive really hard here at the beginning of these runs with how many laps are on the tires here. So you see Baptista, you can see, oh man, he just hit the wall a little bit there under caution, warming the tires up here. So warming those tires up is definitely something that will come into play here. As the tires get more warmth in them, they definitely seem to handle a little bit better here. As we come back to the green flag once again, lap 25 will go in the books this time by the stripe, and a great restart once again for Reina as he pulls up in front of Baptista as they head back into turn number 1. Here comes Baptista trying to look to the inside on the bottom of the racetrack. That is not the place you want to be there as you see the 19 car of Reina pull away down the backstretch a little bit.
Momentum wins about 80% of the time here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Jaden Reina showing it there with that great maneuver on the restart to carry the momentum around the outside lane, get it squared up, and a straight launch off turn number 2 to now lead the conclusion of lap 21.
And if Reina can just stay right in that groove, I don't think he's going to be able to get past very easily by Dylan Baptista. There might need to be a little bit of a chrome horn come out here because it's just so hard to make a pass on the bottom here at the Lucas Oil Raceway as Reina, continue to lead this thing by a half car length over the 7 car Baptista, a half car length to head down the front straightaway back into turn number 1. Third spot is the 5 car. And how about Caleb Johnson? He's making this a 3-horse race up front as they work nose to tail off turn number 2 down the back straightaway. And this is the longest run we've had so far, Chris, as Johnson takes a look to the inside, gets back in line right behind Baptista, down to the inside once again off turn number 4.
A beautiful run here as the top 3 starting to really shake up. Obviously Johnson in the number 5 machine trying to get and break through and get around that number 7 machine of Baptista. But Groff now starting to reel back into the back of the number 5. I got to say, I think Groff has got a little bit of speed here, but here comes Johnson again in the 5. But if you can't put yourself in the position to challenge for it, Chase, as we know, then you got to start thinking about who's behind you and defending.
Wow, close call off turn 4 right there. The 5 car of Caleb Johnson got on the apron a little bit, got that car sideways. He's sideways once again. Caution coming out here just as things were starting to heat up there at the front of the field. It looks like the 7 machine of Nathaniel Edwards has spun out on the front straightaway, and he was sideways and gets tagged from behind by the 21 car. Ethan Nascimento spins him around there, but look at the replay. You can tell that the 7 of Nathaniel Edwards, that car was trying to spin out the entire corner. Ethan Nascimento didn't really see what was going on in front of him, and by the time he realized that the 7 was sideways, he got in the back of him and spun him out.
These cars can be a handful. I know that some of the testing and practicing that I've done with these drivers here just to get a better feel and idea of what they do. If you carry the thing in just a little too much, you're a little too aggressive on your steering inputs, braking inputs, it could really set you up for disaster. That's just on your entry. That's the early entry. Not a lot of room here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park to try and save that.
Especially with the banking here, there's just not a whole lot of banking for these guys to lean on and use them, to help, help themselves when they're in a slide, a 4-wheel slide. When there's more banking, it really helps you correct a slide like that. But here at Lucas Oil Raceway, I'm not really sure how many degrees of banking there is, but there's really not a whole lot for these guys to use up. And next week we head to a track that has a little bit more banking, but a whole lot more. The Richmond Raceway out there in Virginia. Is it Virginia, I think?
It is.
I've never been there. Have you been there?
I have. I actually spotted there with IndyCar a long time ago when we went there, maybe early 2000s, I would say. So, and then I was actually there last year for the current IndyCar spec test leading up to what they were hoping to have as a race here in 2020, which I think has been postponed now. But it's an awesome facility. It's right there on the fairgrounds. It's crazy because you're in Richmond, Virginia, and you're cruising around and turn a corner and there's a massive racetrack. I think at one point it was second to only Bristol for the height of the bleachers.
That's a good stat right there. I didn't know that. So, yeah, next week, this Junior Late Model Esports Next Series presented by Nitro Lubricants will head off to Richmond, Virginia for round number 5, and then we'll cap it off the week after that at Richmond once again. Not sure how many laps that will be. Probably around 80 laps or so out there at Richmond. That should be a really, really good race, and we'll see how many drivers come out. We have seen a couple of different drivers throughout the last couple weeks with this series. We mentioned Dominic Carter, a winner earlier on this year at Irwindale Speedway. He has not been in the last 2 races. Not really sure what's going on with Dominic. I think you said something about him having a wheel issue or something, Chris?
I believe that was some of the conversation last week. Now, obviously, I've had a lot of head injuries, so it's hard for me to remember things as simple as what I did an hour ago. But I thought for some reason that Dominic Carter, in one of the interviews that we had done with him, he had had some wheel issues. And maybe that's why Dominic's in here in the crew position this week.
Yeah, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Dominic Carter actually the spotter here inside the iRacing simulation for Dylan Baptista. I'm not really sure what kind of, if he's going full-on Chris Wheeler spotting mode or what here. But Dominic Carter trying to help out that 7 car, the 2 winners in this series. That is definitely a lethal combo here as the lights are out on the pace car once again, and we are ready. We're closing in on the halfway mark here, and Baptista is running out of time to get by Reyna, but that last green flag run, Chris, it looked like Reyna was starting to pull away a little bit, and Baptista was being challenged a little bit there by the 5 of Caleb Johnson.
So far, Reyna's got the number dialed in here against the 7. One of the best performances we've seen against the 7 so far this season. My only question is, we're only working lap 34. It'll be 35 at the stripe. Can the 19 hang on?
That is a great question, as they're beating doors a little bit. They're coming back to the line here as we come back to the green flag once again. And Reyna, a fantastic start that time. Baptista does not get going very well. He gets hit from behind. Here comes the 5 of Caleb Johnson. He'll take a look to the inside. We're trying to look for 3 wide for the number 2 spot off of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Chase and Groff way down on the infield. And here comes Chase Berta looking for 4th, 13th to 4th now for the 18 car on the outside here.
The race in between the 10 and the 18 is absolutely fantastic as they head off turn number 4. A little bit almost contact. Wow, that could have gotten a little bit worse, but luckily both drivers come out of that one clean and green, and some fantastic racing up front continues.
Also a good battle behind those guys for about 6th with the 27 of Evan Wright-Gielski and the 99 car of Zach Morris as they work down the back straightaway. That's the 99 and the 27. Everyone's single filed out as they work off of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. Working lap number 37 this time by Baptista, now a half car length behind. The 19 of Reyna drives into the corner, nearly gets into that back bumper. Now he almost does it again off turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, Baptista looked better, but getting by him is a whole other challenge here as we work into turns 3 and 4.
I feel like Baptista's definitely got some things within the driving style and within the line that are going to allow that. Is one of the reasons he has the speed that he has when he's by himself. But carrying the momentum is so hard when there's one line around the racetrack as it is right now. You saw a poke out right there getting into turn number 1. Had to lift, get back up, diamond off the corner, try and drive it off square and get that run all over the back of your leader. Now he makes a move to the bottom. Will he have something? No.
He was a little bit squirrely there off turn 2 and lost some momentum down the back straightaway. Now a big run to the back bumper off turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. And I love it when this happens. I love it when a guy that's won a lot of races, he's fast, he's stuck behind a guy that's trying to get his first win, might not be quite as fast, and that really shakes things up behind him. But here, the 7 nearly hits the wall, and Caleb Johnson last time by was the fastest car on the racetrack in the 3rd spot. So the 5 car coming back into the fight, and he's going to make it a 3-car fight for the race lead here in a few laps.
If you look back here, you're going to miss. If you don't look back, I should say you're going to miss it because the battle for 6 is heating up big time in yellow.
And it looks like Aiden Brooks, the car that is bringing out the caution, he was fighting back in 18th spot with the 7 of Nathaniel Edwards, and that was just a case of maybe Aiden Brooks does not have a spotter here and came up the racetrack right into the side of Nathaniel Edwards on the straightaway. Not sure if we can cue up a replay here on Speed Lab TV, but Chris, maybe you could take us through this one. It looks like Aiden Brooks, maybe, as I mentioned, does not have the spotter turned on and came up the racetrack and turned himself head on in the wall.
Yeah, just now getting back to the replay myself here, but as you watch, comes off of turn number 2 on that lower line. I'd say actually about middle of the racetrack, and if you look right here, you've got Nathaniel Edwards just off the right rear corner in the 13 machine, and as they make the exit, just came up the racetrack. It's sometimes I know the drivers, they have that thought, they're just trying to inch up, see what they can get away with. You definitely don't want to get into turn 3 off your marks, but definitely wasn't clear.
No, definitely was not clear. That is for sure here, as we just got a replay there on Speed Lab TV. So great job by our producer tonight, Dylan Schiebel. He's been killing it every single race that we've done so far, getting those replays, and keep an eye on the close battles at the front of the field. Let's take a look at what's going on here throughout the field. 15 cars on the lead lap, and we are over the halfway mark. 42 laps completed, and about 38 to go here. It's Reina, Baptista, Johnson, Berta, Rygielski is in 5th. Chase McGrath, Zach Morris, Teddy Cushidy from the pit area. He took a fast repair, is back up to 8th. Justice Sokol 9th, and Easton Zent 22nd to 10th. He is looking for that hard charger award here tonight there, Chris. But as you can see, we talked about it, a couple of these guys that have used their fast repair have gotten a second chance, and they're making their way back up to the front of the field.
They really are, and you know, part of me here is I think some of these drivers are being smart on the restarts, and they're not engaging in the 2-3 wide on that first lap. They're staying calm, they're holding their position, they're not exposing themselves to anything that's silly. Then as soon as drivers start to kind of even out, and some of these drivers are struggling a bit to adjust to the single file, that's when they're taking their opportunities here. You get 3 or 4 green flag laps, some of these drivers, they're getting 2 or 3 positions out of it.
Oh, Chris, I got to say, before we went on today, I forgot, I said something to you about going out to Midget Week, Indiana Midget Week here in 2 weeks. I know Racecraft One is a huge sponsor of this Junior Late Model Esports Next Series. Are they going to be open in 2 weeks? Because I would like to go over there.
You know, it's funny, because when you mentioned you were coming here for Indiana Midget Week, my first thought was, I get to take this guy to Racecraft One. So that's something I'll have to get with our good buddy Kelly Jones here. And get with him as far as the scheduling. Obviously, things slowly starting to open up again in the Indianapolis area. So as we look for that, I'm hoping by the time you get here that we'll be free and clear to go back down there and hang out with all of our friends at Racecraft One and get back to work.
Yeah, that would be definitely cool, because everything out here in California, I'm telling you, it's like almost prison over here. We got nothing open, no racetracks. We got like one racetrack in the whole state. Walmart's closing at 8 o'clock. I can barely go get anything from the store. It's pretty rough around here, Chris. So I can't wait to get back to Indiana. The home of course, the Lucas Oil Raceway. We're at here tonight for round number 4 of this Junior Late Model Esports Next Series presented by Nitro Lubricants. And the pace car is about to pull off the racetrack, this time by in turn 3. And we saw things getting pretty heated up here at the front of the field on that last green flag run. And this is exactly what we saw last week there, Chris. It took these drivers about the halfway point to start getting some green flag laps in here. And this should be getting pretty good here towards the end of this thing.
Really looking forward here. I heard the race director get on just a few moments ago say, restarts, the green is on the leader. Does the 7 have anything for the 19 here as we are completing lap 45 of 80 at Lucas Oil Raceway Park? Drivers' pace car is off. They're now coming to the green off turn number 4.
35 laps to go. Another great restart for the 19 of Reina. A good start as well for the 5 of Caleb Johnson. He'll look to the inside of the 7 of Baptista. Can't make it happen. And Chase Berta, the Rowdy Energy 18 car. Oh, contact between those two. And Berta's into the fence. No harm, no foul, though. He keeps on going. They don't get stacked up behind him. He maintains...
Oh, big one in turn number 3.
Uh-oh.
Saw it out of the corner of my screen. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, we've got to go back and look at what happened here. I was looking up front, and Chris Wheeler here, I might have to get my ears checked after that one here as he gets real excited. We got, oh my. Oh, that was big time.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow, Easton Zent. Wow.
So your toe in the 24 machine looking to the bottom of Zent in the 22 as they turn in to turn number 3, and it appears the 22 comes down a little bit quicker. I think the 24 is expecting. Both cars completely sideways, and Zent hard into the fence. That's going to bring, I believe, yeah, that brings the 17 of Clark and the 13 of Edwards into that one also. Everybody else appears to have gotten through unscathed, but somebody needs to call the ambulance here for Zent, because that was a big one.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that this wreck starts off to and down the backstretch just as they get on the back straightaway. The 22 car gets into the right rear of Cole Patrick after bouncing off the fence. He's going down the backstretch trying to get out of the car in, just down the track, right into Trenton Yurdo. And big time contact into the wall. The 17 machine, Holly Clark, Nathaniel Edwards, Trenton Yurdo, all of those drivers getting tangled up in that one. And we are now down, I believe it's going to to be probably around 12 or 13 cars on the lead lap here for this one. Chris, that was probably the biggest wreck we've seen all night besides the two that flipped over earlier. As we now work lap 50 this next time by, just 30 laps to go. And Jaden Reyna, he's led every single one of them, doing a great job doing exactly what he needs to do here tonight to pick up that first ever Junior Late Model Esports
That was
win.
a phenomenal restart there by the 19 Arena. As you work through the pack, one of the thoughts here goes back to, I spent a lot of time talking to Oliver Askew this morning, who is a rookie in the NTT IndyCar Series, and he heads to Texas this weekend to make his IndyCar debut as a driver. A lot of unknowns for a lot of these rookies this weekend, but a lot of them all playing off the same philosophy. They want to get through the day, right? So it's a 2-hour practice, qualify, and a race, same day, one show, and they all have this thought of, we need to stay on the lead lap, we need to save our equipment, and we need to make sure that we can be there to fight for a finish at the end. And if you look, as we talked about here, there's only 13 cars of the 22 left, just past the halfway point, still in the lead lap. And I would say a good portion of any one of those cars, once we go green that's still in lead lap, still will have an opportunity here this evening to advance and possibly even pull off an upset.
Oh, they 100% have an opportunity here to still even win this thing. With the racing we've seen up front, I think Baptista, he's going to get a little bit, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is here. He might start losing some patience here on the 19 of Reyna, because he is clearly the faster car, I would say, Chris. But I don't blame Jaden Reyna. He is doing everything right. He is playing the defensive game absolutely perfectly here tonight in that 19 car, not allowing the 7 to get a run on him down the straightaway and look to the inside. Reyna is in the best lane in the corners, so we'll see if he continues to do that here with just under 30 laps to go. These drivers are heating the tires up. They're getting ready for this restart. There goes that pace car into the infield. Baptista looking for a good start here. They hit each other once again. Every restart, they hit each other again right there. These guys are getting a little bit rowdy here coming to the green flag. And we're coming back to green. 29 laps to go. Or sorry, 39 laps. Nope, 29 laps to go. Green flag's back out. How about the restart for the 5 of Caleb Johnson back into turn 1 here, Chris?
Driving deep to the bottom of the 7 machine of Baptista, trying to get down on the apron to get this thing squared off and running. Not going to be there, though. Reyna with another good start, but here comes the 7 of Baptista all over the back bumper of that Hendrick of Concord, number 19.
And we were almost looking 3 wide behind those guys for the 4th spot between Berta, Rychilski, and it looks like the 10 of Groff. Now up front, contact.
Oh, no!
How did the 7?
Oh, no!
They held on to it. The 7 held on to it. I cannot believe my eyes. How did he hang on to that one?
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm watching Bristol from the last couple nights over and over again in real time here again. You see the 7 just throw it in the corner, completely turn to the left. Not going to make it. Right into the 19 car, holds on to the thing, drifts it through the corner. 19 almost has it saved, and then it's the 10 car, I believe. Yeah, chasing Groff with heavy contact to the 19. Clips the 27 of Rychilski. Rychilski off the fence and collects it, saves it a little bit, but then also custody gets involved there a little bit. So that's so unfortunate for the race that's been given. Man, the race was just so good with the leaders until that point, and now I've got a feeling this one's going to change the complex more than we are anticipating right now.
And I hate to make requests, but if Dylan Sheeble can queue up a replay on board with the 7 of Dylan Baptista, I would love to see the handwork here trying to save this race car. Maybe we can get a good look at maybe him driving into the corner just a little bit too deep there, getting into the 19. But watch the 7 there, Chris. He hit at least 2 or 3 cars there trying to hang on to that thing and was finally all the way onto the backstretch, was able to get that car back going straight. But that hands the lead, it looks like, to, I believe, Chase Berta, who started back in 13th position. He was one of the guys you highlighted and gave the spotlight to at the top of the show. He has taken the lead in the 18 car.
And now it's going to be a completely different race because Baptista with an EOL for contact there, causing the yellow. We've seen EOLs on our board here all night long for drivers causing the contact of the yellow. And Baptista's going to have work cut out for him. The remainder is this one as we now work lap 56 of 80 under caution.
Yeah, we'll see where it actually lines up here because there are a couple of lap cars that are in front of him at the moment, but I think once the lights go out, they will drop to the rear of the field. So Baptista should line up, it looks like, in 11th or 12th place. And with, 24 laps to go if he still wins this race, I will personally send him $5. I'm telling you right now, Chris, that would be not only impressive, but that would be a heck of a show up for us here in the commentary box, because I love nothing more than calling a great race. And if Baptiste can get back up there, that would be nothing short of fantastic.
Well, I think I know what my job is going to be on the restart here, Chase, and that's going to be on the 7 tracker.
Yes.
I will be definitely riding from a custom camera angle provided by Dylan Schiebel at Speed Lab TV, and I'll have all my eyes here on the 7 and the progress tracker, because there's not a lot of laps left in this one.
Yeah, the upset winner, I think, is going to come true, as we talked about earlier. It's Berta, Caleb Johnson, Evan Rygielski, Zach Morris, and Teddy Cushity from the back after taking a quick repair is up to 5th. Your leader started 13th. Zach Morris started 17th. He is up to 4th place now. This is going to be exciting, because I think all the drivers at the front right now, Chris, I think they're pretty even on speed. I think Baptiste was just maybe a half a tier better than most of these drivers in the field, but now the top 5 are all on even playing ground here, and I think this is going to be really exciting in this thing.
It's definitely going to be a wild one. We definitely have a barn burner in store for us here, so if you're still watching with us, don't go anywhere, and I suggest you reach out and you tell your friends that this is where they need to be, because the remaining laps here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park for round number 4 of the Junior Late Model Esports Next Series, this is going to be hard to beat. This is going to be phenomenal.
Oh, it definitely is, and I don't think we've seen the end of the contact here. I sense at least one more yellow by the end of this thing here. It's going to be 22 laps to go, 21 to go when they get to the stripe. Chase Berta, Caleb Johnson. We are back to green here at the Lucas Oil Raceway here in 3, 2, 1. There's the green flag, and Berta, he'll get on the gas, gets up through the gears real nice. He'll clear himself down into turn number 1. Caleb Johnson back to the bottom, right behind him, the 27 of Rygielski trying to clear the 99 car of Zach Morris. He will indeed do that. Side by side for 4th. How is the progress with Baptiste back there, Chris?
Well, both Reyna and Baptiste coming from the back. Reyna has now caught the field and is too wide on the outside of Groff and passing cars. I believe that's Groff. The 7 car about 15, 20 car lengths back down the side as I head off into turn number 1. And it literally took 3/4 of a lap. And Reyna now going to go 3 wide to the bottom. 19 digging contact. Oh, no. No fault of Reyna. Oh, that's so hard to watch. Like, my heart breaks every time stuff like this happens, because Reyna just doing everything he can in the 19 to make up for the lost ground. No fault of his own. He turns down here.
That was a perfect move until those two on the outside hit each other.
It was Nascimento and Patrick. Oh, Reyna just turns down, drives it off the apron. The only driver off the apron to make it work, and unfortunately the 21 makes contact, loops it by himself, collects the 19, almost straightened the 21 out, then 21 with heavy contact to the bottom wall.
And yeah, the 19 has got a blown engine on that car, so I don't know if he has any more fast repairs or not, but the engine is blown. You see the smoke pouring out of the back of that thing, and that is normally not a good sign here on the iRacing Sim. But I'll tell you who benefited out of that one, and that was Dylan Baptiste. He gets by 3 cars there, and he's going to have about 17, 18 laps to go to get himself back up front. He currently runs 9th on the speedway, and he's going to restart on the inside. I was thinking he would probably want to restart on the outside, but I think the 7 has got the speed in the car to at least get back up into the top 3 if these guys continue to race as hard as they are up front and make some more contact. Do not count the 7 out yet. As I'm going to take a look back here at Reyna, no P is still in the pits there, Chris, and I think the night will be coming to an end here for the 19 of Reyna.
I'm watching the 19 here in pit lane, just waiting for that car to drop off the jacks and go, but obviously it appears the quick repair has already been used, and that's just devastating. I'm heartbroken here for the 19 of Jaden Reyna. A beautiful job all night long here at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis, and there you go, officially 1 lap down in the books. So that's just tough to watch. You know, I mean, the driver really put the work in this week. You can tell. Fixed setups, fixed atmospherical settings. The drive's so good, but you know, if there's one thing I've learned in auto racing, whether it's in the real world or it's here in the iRacing server, always next week. And so
There it is.
And so hopefully the 19 will be able to come back even stronger at Richmond and put the pressure back on. 10 cars though. 10 cars left now on the lead lap.
Yeah, if you're still on the racetrack, you are guaranteed a top 10 finish. You can't beat that. So Trenton Yurdo is in the 10th place position. He has definitely been in quite a few accidents tonight, but I think he saved his quick repair for that last one. He has a brand new looking race car, and I think we are ready to go green this time by, nope, I spoke to, no, we're not going green. Got ahead of myself right there. I'm too excited, looking forward to the finish of this one with Chase Berta and Caleb Johnson. See these drivers, man, they're already doubled up, man, Chris. They are ready to finish this thing off. They're not single file under yellow. They are doubled up, ready to get back to racing here. And you see these cars, row 2, Rygielski and Morris, those cars look like they have definitely taken a couple of hits here, especially in the rear bumper section of those cars. It has been a rough and tumble race here tonight at Lucas Oil Raceway.
So as I go back to the 7 tracker of Dylan Baptista, don't forget, I don't think Baptista's had to use quick repair yet, because what drove him to the tail was the end-of-line penalty for contact with the then leader, who had been the leader, the 19. And so he saved it. He didn't have to pit for that. Just went to the EOL. So there is damage from that initial contact, yes. But so far, so good. It's got to be a comfort knowing the speed that you've got. 10 cars on the lead lap, and this late in the race, you've still got a quick repair. The pace car heads home.
Here we go. This is going to be pretty interesting. 15 laps to go. Round number 4 of the Junior Late Model Esports Next Series presented by Nitro Lubricants. Chase Berta, Caleb Johnson. As we come back to green, another good start for the 18 of Berta. And right behind him, the 27 of Rygielski going to try and come with him to the inside of Caleb Johnson. Johnson in the preferred groove as he gets a run on Berta off turn number 2 down the back straightaway as he's looking to his back bumper down the backstretch into turn 3 and 4. How is the 7 looking back there, Chris?
7 hard to the bottom of the 20 here in turn number 3. Got checked up a little bit on the start. Just hanging out. It's a dangerous life living down there on the bottom, as we've seen happen to Jaden Reyna on the last restart. But it's now gotten around the 20 machine. Now has ice set, I believe, on the 10 of Groff. Just rolling the bottom. Nothing crazy here. And unfortunately, I think for the 7 car, with the field still stacked up as much as it has been since the restart, these drivers are going to have to spread out one by one in order for him to have a shot to get back through.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to be stuck on the bottom like he is right now. He's going to lose a spot here. It looks like that is Holly Clark going by him on the outside. So if I was the 7, I would, the 20 into the fence right in front of him. But as I was saying, the 7, I think he wants to maybe try and get in line here. Maybe drop behind the 17 and get on the top of the racetrack. But up front, we got contact from car in the wall hard, the 27 of Rygielski. He hangs onto it. And a great miss there by the 7 of Baptista. But he's going to lose a ton of ground. And up front, we've got a race for the lead here. Here comes Caleb Johnson to the inside there, Chris.
Beautiful move there to try and get to the lead as they head off turn number 2. 3 cars now. Cover them with the blanket as they head off into turn number 3, all fighting for this lead here as they come to start lap number 70 when they get to the stripe.
And Justice Sokol is going to go by for the 2nd spot. He gets by the 5 of Caleb Johnson as they work back into turns 1 and 2 on the top of the racetrack. Your leader a little bit sideways right there. And Sokol taking a peek to the outside. Not quite clear there yet as they come by this time. 9 laps to go from Lucas Oil Raceway. And Justice Sokol from seemingly out of nowhere trying to steal the win away here from Chase Berta in the bewitching hours of this race. He's all over him down the front straightaway.
Head off into turn number 1. In line they are, and you can see that Sokol lifts a little bit earlier. Contact from Johnson into Sokol. They're both going to hang on to it. But here comes the number 15 machine. Not enough time to take advantage of it. But your leader now in the 18 starting to stretch out a little bit after we had that contact with the 25 and the 5 in turn number 1.
And Sokol's now going to get clear of the 5 car of Johnson. Ran a little bit too low right there in turns 3 and 4. Lost a ton of ground. And now he's under fire from the 15 of Teddy Custody. Behind them, a side-by-side battle for 5th with Zach Morris and Chase and Groff back there. Give that spot to Morris. And behind them, it is Cole Patrick back in 7th. But the 25 of Sokol will take a look at the lap times this time by Chase Berta at the stripe. He will turning a lap time of 23.38, and Justice Sokol 23.26. He's closing back in on him here for the race lead there, Chris.
I really got to tell you, Berta in the 18 is running an absolutely perfect race line right now. Justice Sokol is a little bit faster right now. I just don't know, without using the bumper, if Sokol's going to have the opportunity to get around.
Yeah, the bumper will definitely have to come into play as he closes it now to a half car like that time by Sokol, a 23. He gets into him. There's the Chrome Horde. The 18 hangs on, but they're still bumping. Here comes the 5 to the inside. They're wrecking off turn 2 and down the back straightaway, Chris. Unbelievable.
Man, drivers getting greedy is usually what happens at the end of these races that breeds these types of situations.
And we stay green.
We are definitely staying green on this one. I think Race Controls had just about enough of the old dump and run logic here this evening.
And we might have had a little miscommunication here. It looks like the race has been called. We saw this last week as well, I think, or the week before that. 75 laps out of the 80 complete, and the checkered flag has come out. Chase Berta is the winner. Yeah, I'm not sure. Something wrong with the iRacing sim there, Chris, but 5 laps shorter than what we were supposed to run here. Chase Berta is declared the winner over Teddy Custody and Zach Morris.
My goodness.
That was definitely a wild one there, ladies and gentlemen. And we see a first-time winner, an upset winner, as we talked about earlier on tonight. And Chase Berta gets the job done. What's up, Chris?
Well, Chase, if you don't mind, because you have the power in the TeamSpeak software over me, could you please bring me your winner, Chase Berta? Because I would love to talk to this young man.
Yeah, let's drag him in here. Chase Berta, the winner, doing some donuts here on the front straightaway. And Chris Wheeler, it sounds like you really, really want to have an interview with him, so take it away.
Man, Chase Berta, first off, welcome to the broadcast booth, and congratulations on a beautiful drive here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great run for us, and honestly, didn't expect a win out of here, but just got a consistent lap times and was just trying to stay clean and was able to get to the front.
So let's talk a little bit about this, and we talked about this at the start of the show. Last week, your car was absolutely junk for the last little bit of the race, but you drove the wheels off that thing. It looked like it was just trying to put you in the fence every time you thought about turning the wheel. In a great second half performance. Going into tonight, we talked about how starting position really didn't matter, and that if you could keep your car clean, you were going to be one of the favorites to get to the front. The plan worked out.
Yeah, we started, I think I started like 11th or something in the back, and we're able to like get through a few wrecks there, and we were up 4th and the front row wrecked and was able to get to the front, and all I need, like I just had to stay out front and be able to stay there, and I figured I had a shot at the win, but Justice was running me down there at the end, and I didn't know what to expect there.
So talk us through that last lap. Obviously, I think we had a little bit of a technical difficulty with ending on lap 75, but there was obviously contact there in turn number 1 with Justice, and then continued on after that with Johnson in the 5. So talk us through where your kind of vantage point when that went down, when you crossed the stripe, went into turn 1.
Yeah, I went into 1. I was just like, all right, because he caught me like pretty fast there, and I just knew I'd just go and have one good lap, and going into 1, I backed up the corner and he got to the bumper and tried to move me, I think, but the 5 car, whoever, they got together, and I was just like, wow, all this happened so fast, and I assumed I had to get to 3 and 4 clean, and I would be able to win.
Well, Chase, talk to us a little bit here about who makes it possible for you to compete here in the Junior Late Model Next Series.
Oh, well, definitely my mom, my dad, and everyone here always like backed you up. Like series we weren't able to get into, and then my mom was on me to get into it, and my mom signed me up for the second one, and we were able to get in. And the first weekend we were like 2 laps down, and we were able to just get better and better. And but basically it's just like my parents that really provided me and with everything to get me into this.
Well, that's awesome, and congratulations again on your win. Hopefully this puts you a little bit forward in your momentum and your confidence as we head off into week number 5 next week at Richmond International Raceway.
Yep, and thank you guys.
There you go, Chase Rodman. I think next up you should have your second place finisher.
I indeed do. It is Teddy Custody coming home in the second place spot. Started 3rd, got into a wreck, took pair, and made your way back up to 2nd. Teddy, after that first wreck, did you think you had a shot in the dark of finishing 2nd here tonight?
I kind of thought that I had a top 5 car. I wasn't expecting what was going to happen on the last lap, but I mean, we get sent it back. You just gotta be careful of the wrecks, and it gets a little messy back there. So I'm thankful that I made it up there. I got in a little bit of incidents, but I'm glad to be here.
Heck yeah, man. You said it's a mess back there. It sure was. We had 10 cars finish up on the lead lap here. But, man, just take us through it. It seemed like, unfortunately, I think you might have had a car to compare those last couple laps with Chase Berta. But, unfortunately, something wrong with the simulator, and we end up 5 laps short of the scheduled distance. Do you think you had some form there if there was 5 more laps on the board?
I might have. My tires were getting worn out, and my car was getting really tight. So I had to really early brake it or drive it in deep, but use a lot of brake to help the car turn. I might have had a shot, but my tires were just getting down there to wire.
No doubt about it. Next week, this series is heading to the Richmond Raceway in Virginia. Do you have any experience there here on the iRacing simulator? Are you ready to head to Richmond next week?
I haven't hit the road at Richmond yet, but this I will. I'll be getting some practice in, and hopefully we can have a good finish like this one there.
Absolutely. Well, Teddy, you have a lot of people chiming in on Facebook, go Teddy or whatever, cheering you on, all that stuff. Is there any sponsors or anybody, any of your family or friends you got to thank here for getting second place here tonight?
Well, first I'd like to thank the Lord Jesus Christ. He's been my Savior. He's been my Lord. He's helped me, and even if this is not the real thing, and it's almost like it, I will still praise Him. I gotta thank my real sponsors, Procter Indoors in Maple Grove in Minnesota, Travodine Performance Lubricants, Yoder Farms, Flatline Performance, Youth Impacting, Westfall Construction, Vermilion Creek Homes, Kelly Telfer Fine Art, Jerry's Abrada Body and Glass. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry, but thank you for all what you do in real life, and hopefully we get to see you at the real racetrack.
Very well said there, Teddy. Congrats on the second place run. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Thank you.
Teddy Cushedy in the second spot, and tonight, third place went to Zach Morris, and I believe he's standing by now, Chris Wheeler.
You're right, he is. We've got Zach Morris here in the booth. And Zach, congratulations on a hard fought. It wasn't pretty, but it had to have been fun to finish third here from 17th tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
Talk to us a little bit about your night, man. It was up and down. Started 17th, had some issues early. Managed to get back through the field, though, and yourself in a good spot there at the end of it.
Yeah, a lot of these races is just survival. So if you can make it through the race, you got a top 10 guaranteed finish. So that's what had my head on the whole night. And so the fact that I finished this high up was pretty good, especially after a bad qualifying time.
So now we're through 4 of the 6 rounds. We head off to Richmond. Talk to us a little bit about what your are going as to the far east coast to your Richmond International Raceway. Completely different dynamic of a racetrack to finish out rounds 5 and 6.
Yeah, this is definitely a more normal track compared to Irwindale and Lucas Oil, but it's a little bit looser in the races I've raced. So we'll see how everyone here can handle it and another survival race.
That's awesome. Now, we'll talk to us here a little bit, if you don't mind, just for a second, about your sponsors and the people that make this possible for you to come.
Oh, yeah, definitely. TSR Racing, Groff's Automotive, and Call Evo. They allow me to race in real life and online. So really got to thank them for allowing me to have this sport and allowing me to race.
Fantastic job. Well, congratulations again on a top 3 finish here tonight. Hopefully we'll see you back up front next weekend when we get national.
Thank you. Definitely.
Well, Chris, I think that'll wrap up the interviews tonight. Those are your top 3. Congratulations to Chase Berta on the win, Cushedy second, and Zach Morris in the third spot. We saw some great racing here tonight. Chris Wheeler, your final thoughts before we close out the broadcast here tonight.
Well, the more I get in tune with this series, the more I realize that you can't count on anything. I thought that this thing was going to be in the bag with the continued success of Baptista. Then Reina showed so much strength and so much poise throughout the entirety of the race before the contact. So many things happen there, especially late in the race. You just never know what's going to happen. The keys falling into Richmond are going to be the same as they've been so far. You've got to stay out of trouble. You've got to take care of yourself, got to take care of your equipment, and only you could put yourself in that position to be there late in the race.
I couldn't have said it better myself, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for watching tonight on the Raceface Brand Development Facebook page, along with the Junior Late Model Esports Twitch channel. Until next week, when we head to the Richmond International Raceway, we hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage. My name is Chase Rodman. For Chris Wheeler and Dylan Schiebel behind the scenes, we thank you so very much for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you next week at the Richmond International Raceway.
Your home is a lot like your car. It requires regular maintenance to keep it safe and maintain its value. The professional technicians from Home Smiles complete all your annual maintenance items in just one day. Save time and keep your family safe with our complete 18-point service starting at just $49 a month. Order today with promo code FREEMONTH and we'll waive your first payment.
1-888-SMILE-11. One click or call, Smile, it's done.